What's going on, guys? This week we're looking at penalties. Now I'm sure we all remember exactly where we were and how we felt this time last year. You may need to take a penalty kick in the last minute of a game, in a cup final or in a shootout. You need to stay in control mentally and remain calm and focused. Now, I can't tell you exactly how to do that, but what I can tell you is bomb right past the keeper. Come on! The first thing we need to think about when we're taking a penalty is finding those corners. Now, you don't want to make it too obvious which corner you're going to the goalkeeper, so when we're starting our run up, we probably want to start behind the ball. So right in line with the keeper, directly behind the ball. Then, just as we're about to take our penalty, step to the side to make your run up a little bit easier. Then, when we're running up to the ball, maybe adjust your body position slightly to try and trick the goalkeeper and fool them into thinking you're going into the other corner that you're actually going to put it. And hopefully it'll look a little bit like this. Something to bear in mind is that we need to make sure we find the bottom corners or the top corners, because if we put it anywhere around waist height, it gives the keeper a real good chance of pulling off a worldie save. When we're starting to feel a little bit more confident, that's when we can maybe slow our run up down a little bit and wait for the keeper to make the first move. So if you look at Pogba's 18-step penalty, he's not just doing that for show or to be in the headlines, he's doing it to try and slow it down, make the keeper make the first move so he can find the other corner. And to be fair, he's had a pretty good success rate.
Against Uzbekistan with a nonchalant run-up, which he looks like he's doing again here. Diamores waits. Pogba strikes it into the bottom corner. He may be nonchalant, but he's given France the lead.
The same with Hazard, so he adds a little skip in so the keepers don't know when he's about to take the penalty or when he's carrying on with his run-up.
Almost halfway through the first half, and Hazard rolls it past De Gea, and Chelsea lead Manchester United at Wembley.
So they make the move first, then he slots it in the other corner. When you're feeling really confident is when you might want to try the Panenka. So that's when we run up to the ball like we're going to smash it or we're going to slot into one of the corners, but we cheekily dink it straight down the middle. But one thing you've got to be careful of is that you get enough height on it to get over the keeper's trailing legs, but you don't hit it too high that it blazes over the bar. So when we're taking a penalty, putting enough pace on the ball is absolutely critical. If we step up to it and just roll the ball, ideally into one of the corners, it's not going to make it overly difficult for a keeper. If you put enough pace on it, even if they go the right way, it's still more than likely to get past the keeper. But you need to be careful that you don't try and put too much power and pace on the ball, that you end up dragging it wide or putting it over the bar into the stands. Another top tip is giving the keeper your poker face. So you'll see a lot of players, what they're doing, when they're stepping back for their run-up, they'll turn their back on the keeper to make sure the keeper can't get any ideas where they're going to put the ball. Other ways of doing this are making sure you either keep eye contact with the keeper and you're not looking in either corner, again to give that away, or for me personally, what I like doing is giving the keeper no eye contact, looking at the ground, not giving away anything that you're going to do. Then as you step up to the ball, then look up and then slot it into the corner that you want to go. Another thing to bear in mind is making sure that you don't always go to the same corner. Keepers will analyse whereabouts penalty takers put the ball in previous games, especially higher up the tiers that you go. So you need to make sure that you mix it up. So sometimes you might want to go bottom left, top right, straight down the middle. You need to make sure you're mixing it up. Don't give the keeper any clues as to where you're going. If your penalty is saved, it's not the end of the world, because you've always got the chance of a rebound. If the keeper parries it back to you, you need to be prepared to get there before the defenders come in to slot it in and score your goal. However, it is worth bearing in mind that if it comes off the crossbar or off the post, the penalty taker cannot then touch the ball until it's been touched by someone else. But if the keeper parries it onto the post and then it comes back to the penalty taker, then you're more than entitled to go and score your goal. And finally, you need to make sure you practice. Even if you haven't got a goalie, there's no excuse for not going out there after training, before training, or even if you're just down the park and slotting balls into the corner and practicing your penalties. The more you practice, the better you're going to get when it actually counts. There's a few different tips on how to take the perfect penalty. One thing I will say is to make sure you know what you're going to do and stick to it. Do not change your mind last second. Like I've said, you need to set time aside to practice, because burying that penalty can be the difference between winning and losing. If you are asked to take a penalty, your teammates are relying on your mental strength. Yes, this is an additional pressure, but you need to make sure you're confident when you're stepping up to take that penalty kick. Whether you're an outfield player or a goalkeeper, there's plenty more tutorials to improve your game on our YouTube channel. So make sure you go and check them out, and I'll see you next time.